Good morning. You're watching the morning news on CNN News 18. I am Aisha Varma. It's almost 8 a.m. and we have some breaking news coming in from Kerala right now. Now, the Kerala government has approached the Kerala High Court seeking to cancel the anticipatory bail of Civic Chandran in the sexual harassment case and for expunging the offending remarks. While granting bail, the Kozhikode Sessions Court had said, and I quote, "The photographs produced along with the bail application by the accused reveal that the de facto complainant herself is exposing to dresses which have essentially some sexual provocative element." So Section 354A will not prima facie stand against the accused. This is what the Sessions Court had said. Now, the order was widely criticized, and the state in its petition has now said that the findings and reasons stated in the order suffer from illegality, lack of sensitivity and sobriety, and perversity warranting interference by the High Court. Now, the state also said that the findings and observations made by the Court of Sessions are highly deplorable, demeaning, and anti-woman, and it could eventually harm the public trust in the judicial system. Now, the state has also said that the reasons stated by the Sessions judge amount to judicial indiscipline and are liable to be expunged. Now, I'm crossing over to our correspondent, Neetu, to get us more details on this. Neetu, this seems to be a very encouraging action taken by the Kerala government in its petition. Tell us more about what's going to be done.
Yeah, the Kerala government has used very strong words in its petition before the Kerala High Court, where they had sought to cancel the pre-arrest bail, that is the anticipatory bail of this accused Civic Chandran at CV Kuttan. And not just that, they have gone against and said that the remarks made by the judge while giving this order, they are per se illegal, and it suffers from a lack of sensitivity, sobriety, and also says that it is highly deplorable, anti-women, and it would eventually harm the public trust in the judicial system. So the state government wants these remarks also to be expunged. So state government is not taking it lightly that an order coming from the Kozhikode Sessions Court has mentioned something like this, which says that prima facie sexual harassment case will not stand because the complainant is wearing sexually provocative dress, and this is something which will have bearing on other cases also. So the state government is not taking it lightly by one bit. They have made strong objections to this, and they want to expunge the remarks, not just cancel this pre-arrest bail.
Absolutely, Neetu. Now, I do also have a follow-up question for you in this scenario. Now, could you just remind us once more about the case in which the court essentially made these remarks?
This case was related to the anticipatory bail plea, which was filed by Civic Chandran, or CV Kuttan, that is his real name, but he's known by his name as Civic Chandran. In a sexual harassment case, there was a complaint by a lady who participated in a camp that after the camp, he misbehaved with her and tried to grab her. So that was a complaint that she had filed. Now, the defense version was that the complaint was filed almost after 2 years since the incident. So this doesn't look like a legitimate case, and this is a cooked-up story. So that was the defense. And the court also went on to say that this man is 74 years old. The accused is 74 years old, and he has problems. Physically, it's not possible for him to stand up. He has to pull a young lady. That's what the court order has said. So all these are things which did not go well, and it was not just one order. There were two orders from the Kozhikode Sessions Court, both in cases. The earlier one was related to, a molestation case. In that also, the court had granted him anticipatory bail plea, and in that made another statement that for the sections under the SCSC Act against the complainant to be there, the person should know beforehand that the the person was from this particular community, but in this case, he did not know. So these were the two orders that was widely criticized. But then the order for the sexual since the victim was wearing sexually provocative dress, Section 354A will not prima facie stand is something which the court had said, and to this, the civil society as well as from the experts, everybody has taken objection to it, and now the state government has approached the High Court.
Absolutely. All right, Neetu, thank you so much for joining us and bringing us all of that detail on this story. Now we have some more alarming breaking news coming in right now from Delhi. All right, now there has been firing in Delhi. 2 are dead. Now these apparently identified people opened fire in the JJ colony area, and the brother of the deceased has said, and I quote, "The neighbors informed me that 2 people came with covered faces and fired at my brother and 2 other older men who were sitting with him." Now the police also told us that 2 have been killed, including my brother, and 1 is seriously injured. That's the information that we're getting right now. I'm crossing over to our correspondent, Anvit, to get us more details on this. Anvit, what can you tell us about the shooting?
See, Aisha, the incident took place yesterday evening when the 2 men came and suddenly opened fire on 3 of these men who were sitting outside near their house in the Juggi cluster. This was the incident took place in the colony Bakarwala, which lies in the outer part of Delhi. And what we are learning is that the injured are Joginder, who was aged around 45 years, one Mangal, who was 60 years old, and another person who has been identified as Mohan Lal. Now, all of them had been shifted to hospitals. 2 of them are said to have succumbed to the injury. However, one person is still injured and is admitted in the hospital. Now, the police are saying that they're trying to identify the reason, whether it was owing to a personal enmity that these 2 men were shot, or was there any financial dispute that was going on between them, or be it a property dispute. The police are yet to look into the reason. They're finding out what could be the reasons of this killing. However, what the police are telling us that they've registered a case of murder and are also checking CCTV footage to find out the identification of the 2 men who had opened fire. The police in this case are yet to make any arrest.
All right, Anvit, thank you so much for joining us and giving us those details. Now we have some more breaking news coming in right now. Now, beyond Delhi, a firing also took place in Digha, Patna late last night. 2 people were shot. Parmeshwar Rai, who was talking at the shop, ran away, but Ashok Rai, who came out after hearing the sound of the firing, was shot, and another young man who was passing also got shot. Now, essentially, these are the visuals that we're bringing you on your screens right now. This entire incident was caught on camera, and that's what you can see playing out on your screens, where essentially this firing took place in the area of Digha, which is in Patna, and 2 people were shot. Now, we will be connecting with our correspondent to get you more details and to get you a status update on the 2 people who were shot. But for right now, this is the information that we're bringing you. Now, Parmeshwar Rai, who was essentially somebody who was at the shop, he saw what was going on and he ran away. And Ashok Rai, essentially, it seems to be a relative of that earlier individual. He came out after hearing the sound of the firing and he got shot. And then another young man who was passing by also got shot. So we are yet to learn about the motivation of this incident. Once again, we will be connecting with a colleague to get you more details on that. But for right now, 2 people have been injured, and the CCTV visuals of this firing are on your screens right now. Now I'm crossing over to our correspondent, Saurabh, to give us more details on this. Saurabh, what can you tell us about this incident? Are any motivations emerging?
See, it can be seen as a gang war because last year this man was standing at his shop. Parmeshwar Rai was the name of the man, and he was standing at his shop. The assailants came and started firing at him, but somehow Parmeshwar Rai escaped from there. But a passerby was injured by the bullet shot, and also a man who came out from the shop was injured by the gunshot. But the main target was Parmeshwar Rai, who managed to escape from there. It is also said that Parmeshwar Rai's father was killed in 2019. So the police team led by Law and Order DSP reached over there at the spot late at night and started investigating the matter. You can see the cartridges are lying on the road, and the police is busy picking up the cartridges. These all pictures can be seen in the CCTV footage. Well, the father was killed. The Parmeshwar Rai's father was killed in 2019, and it is said that this is a fight for supremacy between two criminal groups, in which Parmeshwar Rai was the main target, and now he has escaped there. But the two were injured during the gun fire, and both of them are critical and hospitalized. Now the police are investigating the matter, and no arrests have been made so far.
All right, Saurabh, thank you for joining us and bringing us those details. We're now shifting our focus to another story where Russia arrested an ISIS member who was allegedly planning to attack India. All right, a mega terror attack against India was foiled by Russia. Russia apprehended an ISIS terrorist who was planning to travel to India. The terrorist was planning an attack against a top BJP leader and was meant to avenge a perceived insult to Prophet Muhammad. Now, he has been identified as Azamov, and according to the Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation, the terrorist was recruited by ISIS as a suicide bomber in Turkey. Now, he even took an oath of allegiance to the ISIS as well. Now, essentially, Russia nabbed this bomber, and he also made some chilling confessions. And what we're going to do is take you through those confessions and what he said. Now, the number one thing that he said is that he was tasked with taking revenge on somebody who allegedly insulted Prophet Muhammad. Now, he also said that I plan to meet an ISIS handler in India, essentially drawing attention to the fact that there is a presence of ISIS in India. Now, the next chilling confession that he made was essentially that the handler was going to be providing him with weapons and logistics for the attack. So essentially, now the next point is also about how he underwent special training in Turkey this year. So essentially, he was recruited by the ISIS, he underwent training in Turkey, and then he was going to be coming to India, and he was going to be speaking to a handler, an ISIS handler in India. Now, the last point is that he was going to be leaving for India from Russia at the command of ISIS. So he was waiting for that final command in order for him to come to India, and then where essentially he was going to be meeting a handler, he was going to be getting weapons, and he was also going to be given logistical information about the attack that he was going to essentially take on somebody in India. Now, we will be getting you more information on this, but right now those are the chilling confessions that we're bringing you from the ISIS member that Russia has nabbed. Now, essentially, what is also very chilling is that this also points to the presence of ISIS in India. And some big questions that really emerge out of this is, was he really a lone wolf? How many other people were involved in this? Now that he has been nabbed by Russia, is somebody else really going to come in and take his position instead? Because essentially what typically happens with terror groups like this is even if one person is nabbed, then they do tend to send somebody else. So we will try to get you more information on this. But for right now, those are the details that we have on this incident. Now, it is very shocking. It is very alarming. Now, but one thing to note is that Russia has nabbed this individual. So that is the current situation. And he has made these confessions, these chilling confessions. Remember, another thing that he said is that he was going to be meeting a handler in India where he was going to be getting essentially weapons, and he was also going to be getting details about logistics. So I'm also crossing over to our colleague Abhishek Jha to get us more details on this. Abhishek, so what do we know about whether he was the only person who was slated to carry out this attack, or were there other people involved? Tell us what you know.
So clearly, this is an investigation which is in very primary stage right now. So far, we know that the person named Asimov is about 30 years old. Is a person from Malaysian origin, likely he's an Uzbeki. He has, in his confession, he has accepted that he was trained he was recruited through a social media platform like Telegram and Signals, and he was in touch with the higher officials of ISIS through these platforms, and he traveled to Turkey, from where he got this command that he had to go to Russia, and from Russia he was supposed to come to India, where again he was apparently had some people working for him because in India he was supposed to get all the logistical support and apparently all those materials that were required uh, to conduct that terrorist strike that he was apparently planning for a very long time. Uh, Indian intelligence agencies had some idea because they had some through their international peers, they had some input. And accordingly, in the last week of July, there happened a meeting of intelligence officials from across the country where those inputs from international agencies were shared. And accordingly, we had seen probably the last few weeks, there had been many raids across the country, including Bihar and other parts of the country, where some ISIS modules were also uncovered. So looks like the story is now becoming complete with the arrest of this person Asmov in Russia, because as agencies were trying to nab more people in India, so probably that were those were people who were actually the sleeping cell or the modules that Asmov was expected to work with when he would have arrived in India. So currently, investigative agencies have not been able to tell us who were the names or the names who were the high profile names or individuals this terrorist was after their life, and also who all were there, because this person apparently has ISIS allegiance, but he has not told clearly the names of the people who have been behind this whole plotting of terrorist strike in India.
Absolutely. Abhishek, now I also do have a follow-up question for you on this. Now, as per one of his chilling confessions, he had essentially said that he was going to be meeting an ISIS handler within India. So what does this really say about the presence of ISIS in India?
This is clearly a worrisome proposition that if a person living in India has been working for ISIS and he was plotting or planning a major individual strike on a ruling elite, like somebody from the ruling dispensation. This is the basic primary information that the agencies have, and probably they must be working on that information. But the name of that person who or the location of those individual who have been working for ISIS has still not been clearly told to us. We know that Indian agencies would be in touch with the Russian counterparts, and very soon they will also have some access to interrogate or to seek answers from ASMO. And probably then the scene will be much more clearer as to who all are behind this terrorist strike. What was the name of the person who this person was trying to target in India? Apparently, this person has said that he was in vengeance. He was acting in vengeance ever since that controversial remark by a BJP spokesperson was made against Prophet Muhammad. While all of us have understood this fact that the issue has died down long back, because so much of firefighting happened at the diplomatic level also. Indian envoys in various countries in Gulf, they also try to convince or present India's stance to the respective governments, where it was clearly told that those remarks were not any reflection of the Indian government, but they were rather a personal or individual remark, and that person has been duly punished by the party also. However, when all had imagined the issue has down, this is still very much simmering, and this person who has been arrested in Russia was apparently working in vengeance to act on this terror strike that he was plotting, and some a very high profile individual was probably on his hit list. Whether it was just one person or he had planned for multiple person, we don't know yet. He was a suicide bomber, so apparently he was trained like that. So could have been a very lethal and disastrous strike had he been
Absolutely.
successful.
Now,
But
Abhishek, another
thankfully, it
question
looks
that I
like the
wanted
Russian
to
agencies.
ask you essentially was, could you also tell us about what the way forward is in terms of the investigation? Will India and Russia now be joining hands?
Highly likely, because uh, our security advisor, initial security advisor Ajit Doval, was in Russia last week only, where he also had a meeting with Russian counterpart Patrushev, and both of them discussed about the various aspects of regional and global security. We know that in the wake of terrorist groups sprouting up once again because of the Taliban's takeover in Kabul, this is a common challenge that Russia and India both faces. Russia, because of the boundaries that it's sharing with Afghanistan, and India, because it has been dealing with this proxy war of cross-border terrorism and terrorist strike coming through the boundaries, through the Pakistan, and so the concerns and the challenges of India, Russia on the issues of terrorism are very much on similar lines, and probably they Patrushev on and the world discussed about this issue, and within few days of that, it looks like the Russian agencies, who have a very strong network in Central Asian countries, they were able to nab this person who was trying to plot a high-profile killing in India and coming from Russia, because probably coming from Russia would have given a very less suspicion to any Indian security agencies. Russia has been a very friendly country for with India, and for years we have never heard
Absolutely.
of such incidents where Russia is being used launchpad for any terrorist strike in India. So
Okay.
probably this was the very novel idea, very smart idea by this terrorist and his the plotters who were behind this planning. And however, this whole terrorist plot has been foiled by the alert Russian agencies, and we now hope that very soon Indian agencies will also have access to question that person.
Absolutely. All right, Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all of those important details about this story. For right now, we're going to be shifting focus to the latest in the Delhi liquor scam case.
कि आप बीजेपी ज्वाइन करके पार्टी तोड़ के बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लीजिए और हम आपको सीएम बना देंगे।
70 साल में जो काम नहीं कर पाई और जिस व्यक्ति ने वो काम करके दिखा दिया कि सरकारी स्कूलों को शानदार बना दिया, इस देश के गरीब बच्चों को भविष्य दे दिया, उस व्यक्ति पे सीबीआई की रेड कराते हो तुम लोग? शर्म नहीं आती तुम लोगों को?
एक्यूज्ड नंबर 1 मनीष सिसोदिया कहने लगे कि मेरे पास एक संदेश आया है भाजपा, जिनकी नीयत खोटी है, सोच छोटी है, उनको कोई क्या तोड़ेगा।
Now, amid the Liquorgate scam blame game, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia dropped a bombshell claiming that he was lured by the BJP to break up and join the party in order to get the case against him dismissed. It's a big allegation. Now, the BJP has countered the Aam Aadmi Party by saying that its supremo, Arvind Kejriwal, hasn't answered any of the questions posed to him about the liquor scam in the last 24 hours. Now, the BJP further added that Manish Sisodia is making groundless statements and that he should put the conversation threads in the public domain to prove that his own claims are correct. Now, sharpening its attack, the BJP also made it clear that it will never induct those who are embroiled in corruption.
दो मैसेज थे, दो पार्ट थे उस मैसेज के कि एक तो आपके खिलाफ जितने ईडी के, सीडी के, सीबीआई के केस चल रहे हैं, इनको सबको खत्म कर दिया जाएगा, और दूसरा है कि आप बीजेपी ज्वाइन करके पार्टी तोड़ के बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लीजिए और हम आपको सीएम बना देंगे, क्योंकि हमारे पास में कोई सीएम कैंडिडेट नहीं है वहां पे दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी में। तो इन फर्जी केस में कोई दम नहीं है। आप इनकी धमकियां तो नहीं दे सकते मुझको, इनसे नहीं डरा सकते।
आज इन लोगों के पास पूरी सेना है, इन लोगों के पास पूरी ताकत है, इनके पास सीबीआई है, इनके पास ईडी है, इनके पास इनकम टैक्स है, इनके पास पुलिस है, इनके पास सारी इतना पैसा है इन लोगों के पास। हमारे साथ श्री कृष्ण है, हमारे साथ भगवान है, और अंत में जीत सच्चाई की होगी, भगवान की होगी।
पहली चीज उन्होंने कही कि बीजेपी ने संदेश भेजा है कि आप आ जाओ, आपको तोड़ करके सारे मुकदमे वापस। ये बहुत गंभीर आरोप है, क्योंकि हमने ऐसा देखा है कि एक राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, उन पर बड़े गंभीर आरोप थे, वो भाजपा में शामिल हुए, वो आरोप हवा में काफूर हो गया। ऐसा एक नहीं, अनेक उदाहरण है पूरे देश में, इसलिए ये चिंता का विषय। लेकिन दूसरी चीज जो मुझे एक व्यक्तिगत रूप से थोड़ी आहत कर गई और थोड़ा बुरा लगा कि आज आजादी के 75वें वर्ष में हम फलाने के वंशज हैं, हम फलाना जाति के हैं, ये विमर्श हमारे लोकतांत्रिक संवेदनाओं के लिए संविधान सम्मत भी नहीं है और हमारे लोकतांत्रिक संवेदनाओं के अनुरूप नहीं है। कम से कम मनीष जी से मुझे इसकी उम्मीद नहीं थी।
हर जगह भारतीय जनता पार्टी किसी भी राज्य में जब जाती है और वहाँ कमज़ोर होती है, वहाँ ये नंबर 2, नंबर 3 को ही टारगेट करती है। इस तरह से एक कैंपेन चलाया जाता है, उसको बदनाम किया जाता है, उसको ईडी, सीबीआई और जेल का डर दिखाया जाता है, और फिर भारतीय जनता पार्टी में जब वो आ जाते हैं फिर वो सारे मुकदमे खत्म हो जाते हैं। हम कोई सीबीआई जांच से डर नहीं रहे। अगर मनीष सिसोदिया सीबीआई जांच से डर रहे होते तो आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी में मुख्यमंत्री के उम्मीदवार होते। मनीष सिसोदिया डरेंगे नहीं, मनीष सिसोदिया झुकेंगे नहीं, मनीष सिसोदिया अरविंद केजरीवाल के साथ उनका सिपाही बनके लड़ेंगे।
All right, now we are joined by our correspondent Rupashri Nanda, who is joining us live from Ahmedabad. Rupashri, essentially you are in Ahmedabad because both Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia are there ahead of the elections that are slated this year. But could you also first tell us about how Manish Sisodia, if he joined the BJP, how would it really benefit the BJP? Because he's made this claim that the BJP approached him.
Well, that is a claim that Manish Sisodia has made, and remember, like I said earlier also, it will be up to the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia himself to prove that claim, to back it with evidence. Unless he does that, it will be, there will be always pressure on the Aam Aadmi Party to prove that allegation, because it's indeed a very huge allegation. As Manish Sisodia has already said, he said that he was approached by a BJP leader with the promise of being made the CM face if he breaks up the Aam Aadmi Party, and a clean chit in all the cases that he is currently being embroiled. Now, how does it benefit the BJP? Now, I would not like to answer that question, because the BJP has already said that they do not need tainted people. And this claim is yet to be proven, even though our sources have told us that Aam Aadmi Party has a recording of the alleged offer that has been made to them. What is interesting is that Arvind Kejriwal, chief of Aam Aadmi Party, has actually chosen the battleground state of Gujarat to mount a strong defense of Manish Sisodia. Remember, he was in Delhi when the raid happened, but Arvind Kejriwal actually spoke to the media and spoke up in favor of Manish Sisodia only in the battleground state of Gujarat. And ever since yesterday, in each of the meetings that he has attended, whether it was the press conference or it was the town hall, and even the moment he landed in Gujarat, he's been making the point that Manish Sisodia is the best education minister of the country, and Manish Sisodia is indeed somebody who should be awarded and honored, and it is a shame that somebody like him has been targeted. But Manish Sisodia also has been mounting his own defense much more aggressively here in the battleground state of Gujarat. And today, in fact, Aam Aadmi Party leaders are supposed to travel to Bhavnagar, and they will address a town hall with the young people over there. It will be on job and employment. Now, Bhavnagar is also important because that is the epicenter of the liquor tragedy, or the huge tragedy that has happened in Gujarat. So, Aam Aadmi Party is again going to make the political point that so many people died in Gujarat because they consumed the spurious liquor. No ED raid is happening over here, no CBI raid is happening over here. But look what is happening in Delhi. Having said all of that, I would also like to say that the FIR that has been filed by the CBI is serious. Now, the reason I'm saying it is because we got the information yesterday that two officers of the Delhi government who have been named in that FIR have already been suspended by the MHA. So how much more longer before the action actually is taken against Manish Sisodia? So that is something that the Aam Aadmi Party is actually bracing itself for. And this evening, once they return back to Delhi, we'll have to see what further course of action the Aam Aadmi Party takes. But definitely pressure mounting on Aam Aadmi Party and its leaders from all sides.
All right, Rupashri, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all of those details. We will continue to return to you for this story. Now,